losing trades for too long. And at this point is when you find that most of us tunakuwa na hope. So usually have what we call the hope that the market it reverse. So have hope that the market will reverse. So eventually you find yourself blowing the account. Eventually you find yourself blowing the account. At this point is when you usually have what we call the margin call. So when talking about the margin call, so for this one nimekuwa nikiwaambia for some time. So margin call is when you find yourself like for instance, you find that most of the brokers like ukienda like negative 50% of your account. Maybe for instance, you come and deposit $100, then you find yourself going to negative. Even they have a bit in 50. Like for instance, wanapeananga margin call for 49 hapa. You find yourself the market the trades inajiclose automatically. Kama ulikuwa umeingia GPP USD, you find that trade inajiclose automatically. So that is when you find yourself having a margin call. But utapata some brokers, you find some brokers, some fishy brokers, bako upate 0.0. Bako upate 0.0, you utapata the margin call. You utapata the margin call. But a CMA regulated broker, should give you a warning when having the margin call. So when having the margin call, you should have a message or an email telling you that you have experienced the margin call. So the margin call is when you find yourself una block the account. Wangapi tumepata margin call messages? Maybe on WhatsApp, maybe on so most of the time inakuanga kwa email. So you find maybe your account manager anakuambia close all the trades. Okay, so that's all about the margin call. So today I want us to talk about the closing the winning trades early. 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 And this is one of the habit most of us what will experience. This is one of the habits that most of us what will experience. So hapa sasa kuna changamoto. So hapa hivi sasa the sasa forex. The psychology. Sasa hapa ndio sasa the real forex, because for this one you are dealing with the emotions. So hapo you deal with the charts. At this point you are dealing with the emotions. And that's why you could find that most of us are like the big quarter of your account imeshaenda. Umebaki na like a quarter of your account. Nasemanga wacha niingie full margin. Kitu yenye itatokea itokea. So you find yourself, and that's a habit. So closing the winning trades too early. Why it happens? So number one, so maybe for the people who are writing, so why it happens? So number one is about the fear. Uoga. It's about the fear. And the fear that the profits will disappear. So you'll be running with a profit of $50. You'll be running with a profit of $100. So maybe on a usual day, maybe unapatanga $2, unapatanga $5, but at that day umepata like $50 running profits. So that's why you find yourself unasema sijaifikisha $50. Wacha mimi ni withdraw. Yes, it's a good point, but because tunaangalia kitu ina learn the long term. That's why nawaambia like reach a point that the money the profits itakuwa zitakuguide. It's about the system. It's about the plan. And because some of us, that's why you find me that I lost $1,000 because I'm respecting my system. So in that trade that I posted yesterday of gold, I was eventually landing with a profit of $4,000, and because I'm respecting my stop loss, because I'm trading stop, because maybe ninge close your trade at 4,000, and then your trade ianze kupanda juu, and maybe that trade ninge close at $1,000. You can see, maybe ninge close $1,000, ningeacha the $3,000 that I had. You can see, so the venye ukiclose the early trades venye inakuanga, yes, you're going to close with the good money, but you have left the other profits on the table. So number one is about fear. So the fear that the profits will disappear. So unajiambia hapa, hapana, wacha sasa ni cross trade, wacha sasa ni cross trade, itakuja kesho. So number two is about the lack of confidence in the trade. So the lack of confidence. So at this point, una confidence kabisa kabisa. You trade, like for instance, you are buying, imeanza kuform like the dodges, inaanza kuform like the dodges, unakuja unajiambia hapana, hapana, mimi sita lose trade, kabisa kabisa. So you find yourself una closing at that point, and maybe for instance you'll be targeting like 100 pips, you find yourself closing with 20 pips. Unaona, so umeacha like 80 pips, umeacha 80 pips, so you come back again, unajipata 80 pips zilienda tu hivyo, so unaweza kusema nini hili ndanganya. So that's the psychology, na lazima upitie at that point. As long as you are trading, lazima upitie sasa hapa hivi. Hapa hakuna kuondokea, hakuna shortcut in psychology. There's no shortcut in psychology. So that's the lack of the confidence in the trade. So number three, what it happens is about the past experiences. The past experiences of watching the winning trades coming to losing trades. So unakuja unajipata, yes, maybe jana nilikuwa nime trade, I was running with the profit of $50. Maybe unakuja jipata like today na iende hivyo. Hapana, leo na iwezi enda. That's why I usually tell you guys, number one, you should cross the partials. As long as you cross the partials on your trade, you're good to go. Unapata profit. Number two is about the break even. As long as ume break even your trade. So ku break even inamaanisha aje? Inamaanisha that you have protected your capital. Even if the market kuja ikutoe aje, even if hata ni news gani zimetoka zikuja zikutoe aje, you're going to exit at a zero. So no effect, hujana loss yote. And the moment we talk about this stage of the break even and the closing the partials, so you come to the advanced sasa. You come sasa to advanced orders. So at this point is when usually unakuja weka your sell limit, your buy limit, na unachana na trade run, because umeweka your stop loss na umeweka your take profit. So at this point the psychology si shida. At this point sasa the psychology sasa si shida. And that's why like most of us tuko kwa break even na tuko kwa close the partials. And that's why you said yesterday, most of us who have to accept the losses. The losses are the part of the forex. You must accept the losses. So hiyo tunasemanga the losses are the part of kulipa fees in the forex. So whenever you have the losses, umelipa the fees. So that's number three. When it happens, is about the past experiences of watching a winning trade to be a losing trade. So what are the effects of this? Closing the winning trades too early. So number one, for this one is it encourages the scalping mentality. What was scalping sasa mmefikiwa. So at this point is when you find that the scalpers anaingia trades kama 10, you find yourself you made like 10 pips, umetoka mbio. And that trade is one of the trade in your swing trade. Like for instance gold. Right now gold imeenda more than 4,000 from the start of the year. Imeenda more than $4,000, more than 4,000 pips, more than $4,000 actually. So you can see that this trade of so maybe this trade ilikuwa a swing trade, you find yourself scalping. Toka na pesa yako kidogo na ni trade ungekulia longer term because of the swing trading. So that's the effect of having yourself closing the trades early. So number two is about it reduces the risk to reward ratios. So maybe you are supposed to have a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 5. Yes, you're risking 20 to get 100 pips, but you find yourself, yes, imekuja 10 pips, hata utaki hata ifike hata 1 to 3, you find yourself una close will, for instance, you'll be risking like 20 to 10. That's you'll be risking to get 1, but risk 20 pips to gain 10 pips because of maybe the psychology imekuwa damaged. So at this point you find most of us the psychology imekuwa damaged because maybe you come and trade at some point, maybe you are doing something else, you find yourself kwa loss. And there's a friend of mine kwa hii group kama niambia alikuwa amebuy profile kidogo anajijua, He bought a platform of I come buy platform at $10,000, and because of he does not know about the laws of the game. For instance, we have the maximum drawdown in the platform. We have the maximum drawdown and kuna daily drawdown. So what this guy did is that he assumed the daily drawdown. And for instance, maybe the drawdown here, that account was 8% maximum drawdown. That's about $800 maximum drawdown. So maybe the daily drawdown is 4%. So we found that the guy, he lost 400. Actually, he lost $500 on that trade. So si unaona amesha pata the maximum daily drawdown. So akija kuangalia the rules, kumbe nili breach the rules. Kumbe nisha breach the rules. So these are the things. These are the things. And you found that guy was scalping. You found that guy was scalping, but because of it does not uh, learn on the risk management, unapigwa kiboko kweli kweli. And that's what tunaambiana, these simple mistakes. These simple mistakes can cost you a lot vibaya sana. So those are the effect of the closing the win trades too early. So maybe you can go to how to fix it. So number one, I'm going to teach you about the trading the stop losses. I'm going to teach you about the trading the stop losses. So even if the trades come against you, we make sure that umelock something. So number one, tunakonga na trading stop. You have the trading stop. Number two, you have the break even. And number three, you have what we call the closing the partials. The closing the partials. So if you want to succeed in this forex, the bomb master is that trading the stop, break even, and close the partials. If you master on these three, you make sure that your account will go protected. Actually, account will go protected, and you're not going to blow the account. And I know most of us have to blow account from where we started. I know most of us hata wajui kublow account ni nini. A good number of us wanajijua. So number one, how to fix this? You should use a trading stop. So which is stop loss yako. So for instance, like the market, you are targeting 100 pips. You're targeting 100 pips. Then the market has moved like 30 pips. The market may move 30 pips. Hata siku na haraka across the partials. You trade stop loss yako huko chini, kujiweke at the entry point. That is your break even. Maybe for instance, you trade it okay from 30 pips to 50 pips. At that point, you can close the partial because the market has moved the half of the take profit. So that 50 pips, you close the partials, then unachana na trade run until the trades come to your exit point. Use a trading stop. Using a trading stop, and make sure that you protect your profits when the trade is running. So number two is using a profit target. You should use a take profit based on the market structure. Like for instance, we usually see whenever the market is buying, usually making the higher highs and the higher lows. The trade is making the higher highs and the higher lows. Maybe you got a problem of the take profits. Maybe you have a problem with the take profit. What you can do, you can uh, you can put your take profit based on the market structure. Maybe for instance, maybe for the newbies. So this is what we're talking about. The market is uptrend. So the market is uptrend, and we have the downtrend at that point. So we don't trade on a ranging market. For instance, at uptrend, the market is making the higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So at downtrend, the market is making the lower highs, the lower lows, lower highs, the lower lows. Maybe for instance, Nigeria trade up at this point. This is the entry point. This is the entry point. Make sure that your take profit equal for structures at that point. So at this point, it will be your take profit. So your take profit iko hapa hivi. So your stop loss iko huko chini. So the take profit unaweka based on the market structure. So maybe for instance, market imeenda hivi, so maybe at this point you have another entry. So then your take profit copy for that structure. So the same applies on whenever you are selling. So based on the structure. So based on the structure and so on and so on. So that is it. That is it when making sure that you don't close a winning trade too early. So number three on how to fix this is number three is about the trusting your strategy. So avoid having many strategies. Look on many strategies. We have many strategies. Actually, on my side, we got more than 100 strategies. Actually, I have more than 100 strategies in this forest. But for me, I've decided to stick with one. For me, I've decided to stick with one strategy. And I told you guys, this BTMM, for me, nimekuja a lot of strategies. For me, nimekuja across many strategies. But out of all these strategies, I came and realized most of them hazikuwa zinapatia very clean risk to reward ratio. But with the help of this BTMM, I came and realized I'm good in doing the risk management. And so even if I say the BTMM is doing very well, set here meaning that it is 100%. There's no strategy that is 100%. There's no strategy that is 100%. But for the BTMM strategy, because it's a template, it's a whole template, na guide, na kwambia where to enter and where to exit. For this one, gives you a good risk reward ratio. So for me, I will go with the BTMM. So these are the things I should be doing for now. So number one, the overtrading. You should be able to know how to handle the overtrading. Number two, holding the losing trades too low. Yeah? Accept the losses. Accept the losses. Your stop loss may go hit. Accept the losses, and go and find another trade that could enter. Maybe you can enter and the trade goes on your favor. But most of us tunataka kuingia that trade, unaanza kugangana na market, unaanza kucheza hide and seek with the market. Yes, the market imekutoa, but bado unataka kuingia tena. So you should be able to know how to handle these common pitfalls in forex. And today we're talking about the closing the win trade too early. So don't leave the money on the table. Usiache pesa kwa meza ati because nimepata yes 100 pips, sijai make 100 pips, unatoka ni kama hata kuwa umeingia that trade, and maybe you have left like 1,000 pips. So umefurahia na 100 pips and the market is offering you 1,000 pips. Yes, kila kitu yako iko sawa. And to be on the safer side, guys, tunapataka very to direct trading stop, break even, closing the partials, you're good to go. And maybe at that time, kama ningekuwa najua hizi vitu zote tatu hizi, the trading stop, break even, and closing the partials, I could be somewhere else in my forex journey. Because at that point, I told you guys, he was Wafiji that it took me 1 month for me to draw a trend line for trading view. Ilichukua mwezi moja because at that point ilikuwa kitu very new to me. That point trading was very new to me. But whenever you find a person mwenye na guide and watch this the way, this how we do it, for you to be profitable trader, that kuchukua very minimal time. So I can see tumebakisha about the fear of missing out, the FOMO. So, but for this one, tutacover on next week as we introduce on the sentimental analysis. So we have left with the fear of missing out, okay? Then we introduce on the sentimental analysis. So let's allow the class of the match to proceed. So siku mwema. So have a good night. See you tomorrow at the London session. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Appreciate Kim as he left. Appreciate him. Okay, wonderful. Good evening. How are you? Good evening.